Beat It. It is the third song on the 1982 album Thriller. After his fifth studio album called Off the Wall, Michael Jackson had caused a sensation in a segment of the population, standing out for his music, solo dances, and massive choreographies. Quincy Jones encouraged Jackson to include a rock song on the album. Jackson agreed, but on the condition that the song would be something he himself would buy if he went to a record store, and he wanted it to be enjoyable for everyone. Quincy contacted Eddie Van Halen by telephone to invite him to collaborate, and although at first Eddie thought it was a joke and hung up 3 times, he eventually agreed to participate on the condition that he would not appear in the credits and would not receive any payment, as he was contractually prohibited from doing solo projects. However, taking advantage of the fact that his bandmates were on vacation, he showed up to record. It is said that Van Halen changed the tone of the song and modified it to fit his guitar. He finished his collaboration in just 2 takes, and a few seconds before starting the solo, several knocks on wood can be heard. Some say it was a technician knocking on the door of the room to see if it was occupied. Others say it was Van Halen knocking on his own guitar before starting the solo. And others claim it was Michael knocking on the drum box, as his name appears in the credits of this song as drum case beater in the end. Everyone agreed to leave the sound in the song, and Van Halen could only be rewarded with 2 six-packs of beer after recording one of the most legendary guitar solos of the 80s. The music video was directed by film director Bob Giraldi, and the choreography was done with the help of dancer Michael Peters. The dance steps in Billie Jean had first revealed Michael Jackson's talent for dancing, but it was Beat It that established him as an international pop icon. The video begins with members of 2 gangs spreading the word to meet and fight each other. Jackson, dressed in a red leather jacket, interrupts the fight between the rival leaders and, as a warning, seeks to prevent violence from starting at all costs, especially when it seems that honor is at stake, thus managing to get all the gang members to become part of the iconic choreography. Michael's brother, Jermaine Jackson, claims that the conceptual idea of Beat It was inspired by the gangs of Indiana, where the Jackson family witnessed 3 fights between rival groups. It is also said that in the line "Don't be a macho man," Michael expresses his rejection of the justification many have for committing abuses to demonstrate strength, possibly inspired by the abuses Michael suffered during his childhood at the hands of his own father, Joseph Walter Jackson. The music video was filmed in the Skid Row neighborhood of Los Angeles, where the rivalry between 2 street gangs, the Crips and the Bloods, was very popular. Jackson recruited several members of these groups to give them employment as dancers with the aim of promoting peace between them. As a curious fact, at the 4:30-minute mark of the music video, the leader of the band in white attire does not perform the dance step with the same force as Michael, so Michael ends up catching up to him and steps on him for a second. Similarly, in the music video, you can see a young 17-year-old Tracy Guns, who had just founded the band LA Guns and who would later be part of the early days of the band Guns N' Roses. Smooth Criminal. It is the 10th song from the 7th studio album called Bad from 1987. The song was rewritten from a demo called Al Capone, which was not released until the 25th anniversary reissue of the Bad album, along with other songs and extra material on a second disc. The song and the music video are inspired by the 1950s film genre film noir, also known as black film genre, characterized by stories about gangsters and urban crimes. The lyrics talk about a woman named Annie, who has been attacked in her apartment by a stealthy assailant. She tries to escape but is caught and severely injured. For the rest of the song, you can only hear people asking if she is okay. According to filmmaker Spike Lee, director of the 2012 documentary Bad 25, the chorus "Annie, are you okay?" repeated throughout the song, is inspired by the cardiopulmonary resuscitation mannequin known as Resusci-Anne. Michael practiced CPR for a while, and the protocol states that during interventions, you should ask the patient if they are okay as a way to check if they are conscious to stop the resuscitation. Michael thought it was a chorus that melodically integrated well into his composition, and critics generally considered that the song really captured Michael Jackson's sense of creative freedom after Thriller. Choreographer Vincent Patterson, upon hearing the demo, had a clear idea of filming inside a gangster club, and the white suit and fedora hat that Michael wears were inspired by the musical romantic comedy The Bandwagon. Similarly, Jackson proposed a move with his dancers where they perform a 45-degree forward lean that looks physically impossible. In the video, the illusion was created using cables and harnesses, but Jackson's team created and patented shoes designed to hook onto pegs on the stage floor. These allow the dancer's lean to go beyond the center of gravity as long as the back remains firm and the feet are planted on the ground. This live movement requires a lot of athletic strength in the legs. Originally, Quincy Jones did not like the song, but Michael had such a particular fondness for it that after creating the short film, he took his music to new horizons, starting with the release of an experimental film called Moonwalker in 1988. It also entered the video game market with a couple of titles developed by Sega for their consoles and arcades. The Japanese toy company Bandai released an action figure of Jackson in his smooth criminal outfit, and the film was even adapted into a 3D comic format by Blackthorn Publishing, which paid a very high sum for the rights. However, the comic's failure in sales the following year severely impacted the publisher's finances, eventually leading it to declare bankruptcy.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
Billie Jean.
She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene.
It is the sixth song from the sixth studio album, Thriller, released in 1982. The song was written by Michael Jackson in just 5 minutes, and he stated that while writing it, he could feel it would become a hit. Producer Quincy Jones disagreed with the 29-second intro duration, but when he wanted to remove it, Jackson asked him to leave it as it made him want to dance. The lyrics describe a woman who claims to have a child by the narrator, who denies it all the time and only remembers the warnings from people and his own mother about being careful and not playing with young girls' hearts. Jackson has stated that the lyrics are inspired by fans known at the time as groupies, who followed his brothers while they were in the Jackson 5 band. Michael was still a child and did not understand why these fans claimed to have children related to one of his brothers. Session keyboardist Greg Fillinganes assured that after recording the song, he discovered it was great on every level: rhythm, sound, melody, lyrics, and that it could affect physically, emotionally, and even spiritually. Currently, several critics consider it one of the best songs ever made. Quincy Jones recalls working with Donna Summer on the song State of Independence, originally composed by John and Vangelis. On that occasion, Michael participated in the chorus, and it is believed that he took the bass and keyboard notes from there to later adapt them to a funkier version. On May 15, 1983, Motown Records broadcast a television special for its 25th anniversary, inviting the main artists who were part of its label. After the Jackson 5 finished their performance, it was agreed that Michael would have a space to promote his latest album called Thriller. Jackson wore black pants, leather moccasin-type shoes, a black sequin jacket, and a white glove with rhinestones. Billie Jean starts playing, and Jackson puts on his fedora hat, surprising the audience with his distinctive dance steps and poses full of strength and style. Finally, during the instrumental interlude of the song, he performs a move that creates a visual effect where he appears to walk forward, but his body goes backward, ending with a spin and finally lifting his weight onto the tips of his shoes. The live performance of this song revealed Michael Jackson's talent as a pop icon along with his historic backward slide. The move was already used by young people in the black community under the name backslide, but after Michael's performance, it was dubbed by the media as the moonwalk, marking it as a moment that transcended in a way no live musical performance had ever achieved. The music video was directed by filmmaker and director Steve Barron, who would also be recognized for other iconic videos by bands like Toto, Aha, ZZ Top, Def Leppard, among others. The video shows a paparazzi following Michael, who walks down the sidewalk, lighting up the tiles he touches with his dance steps. Steve Knopper, one of Jackson's biographers, has speculated whether the costume and choreography of this song are deeply inspired by the dance routine of American actor and choreographer Bob Fosse. In the 1974 musical film The Little Prince, Fosse portrays the character of the snake, and during the performance of the song A Snake in the Grass, he performs a choreography where many of Jackson's moves can be seen, including hip movements, leg positions, shoulders, and hands. Jackson has openly acknowledged being a big fan of Bob Fosse's work to the point of having a home collection of his choreographies for film and television. An accident associated with this song occurred in 1984 when the Pepsi Company agreed to pay Michael Jackson the extravagant amount of $5 million to record some commercials for their new campaign, Choice of the New Generation. Michael rewrote the lyrics of Billie Jean, and during the filming of the second commercial, on the sixth take, he was a few steps closer to the fireworks, which were detonated prematurely, causing some sparks to reach the singer, and the hairspray he used allowed the fire to grow quickly on his head. Michael continued his routine until he was reached by staff and his brothers to try to extinguish the fire that had already spread to his entire hair and part of his face. Michael was hospitalized for second and third degree burns, had to be given strong painkillers, and underwent reconstructive surgery on different parts of his head. Many of the biographers specializing in Michael agree that it was this accident that made the singer addicted to painkillers, as the pain from the sequelae never disappeared. The commercial relationship between Jackson and Pepsi was not affected by the accident, as the following year they signed a new contract that would cover 5 continents, this time for $10 million, maintaining the commercial relationship for more than 20 years until the sexual abuse allegations against Jackson forced the soda company to coldly disassociate from him. If you liked the video, share it with your friends and family so they can learn more about these topics. Remember, you can leave us comments about other singers or bands you would like to know the stories behind their songs. Until next time.